Welcome back to Walsall Fan TV. The joy and the pain. We've had too much pain, haven't we? The joy returned with a win over Mansfield. But next up, the match against Morecambe is finally on tomorrow night. We've got Joel Shooter. He's our Morecambe Shrimps fan. How you doing?
I'm right, thank you very much. Yeah, no, this is the long-awaited game in hand, which has actually been against various teams. We've kind of always had a game or two in hand on a lot of the teams around us, and so and this is kind of the one where we catch up. So yeah, we've been waiting a while for this one, so looking forward to it.
When you start getting a few games in hand, naturally you look at the table and think, well, if we win our games in hand, this is where we're going to be.
I know, yeah.
That's the dangerous one, isn't it?
No, exactly. You don't want to start counting every game in hand. You got as 3 points. You've got to you got to take them seriously and not assume that it's going to go plain sailing. So Walsall coming off the back of a really impressive win at home against Mansfield. You got to be wary. You got to be in your best game.
Yeah, that's it. I think it was a shock. It was a shock in some ways, and then people remind me that at home we've beat Stockport, Wrexham, Crewe, and Mansfield. We beat all of them at home.
That
sounds good, doesn't it? But equally, we failed to beat Sutton, so that sort of balances out a bit, I think. We've had a couple of weeks since we were due to play. Since then, we've got 4 points. You've got 7. So Morecambe doing well this season, aren't you? Are you happy the way it's gone so far for Morecambe?
Yeah, it's been very up and down. Obviously, at the start of the season, things started quite well. We've had some very, very good young players on loan, like some Michael Mellon, Eli King, and we had a really strong kind of patch of form kind of going out at the end of summer into autumn. But obviously, we've had Derek Adams, the previous manager, depart, and I mean it's interesting with that. I know a lot of people will put the downturn in form we had over Christmas down to Derek leaving. I think that obviously influenced it, but it already started, to be honest. We lost our goalkeeper Stuart Moore. He's out pretty much until maybe like April or March or something like that. Yeah. He's look at the numbers behind him. He's one of the best shot stoppers in the league. He'd only just kind of come into taking a number one spot this season. He was growing in confidence, commanding his box more than he got injured a few games before Derek left, and our form took a bit of a dip there, really. And since we've had Jeb Brannan come in as manager, he's been kind of wrestling with the squad, trying to stamp his idea on things. Then he's been dealt with a really tough fixture list over December, which is obviously quite hard to deal with. And then we've lost all our loan players, Mellon.
Yeah, King. Mickey Mellon, 15 goals, 2 assists. That's a big miss for you, isn't he?
Yeah, it's massive. And, he's a fantastic player. I think he's probably, I'd say, the best finisher I've ever seen in the Morecambe shirt. And, that people look at Cole Stockton. Cole's good at banging in really, really good goals. But in terms of just being a nice Cole finisher, yeah, Mellon, really exceptional, like all kinds of finishes as well. So to miss that, and his all-round game was really good as well. It really kicked on from when we had him on loan briefly last season as well. So losing that is a big blow, but Jed's done some really good recruitment this month. We've had a slightly kinder run of games, and I think he's just getting his ideas in the squad. We're playing it on the deck a little bit more. I think we still maintain some positives of how Derek played, in that we attack with a lot of speed. We have a bit of a counter-attacking transitional edge to us that we're really, really good at. We don't faff around too much with the ball. We like to get it forward. But I think Jed has kind of coached a bit more of occasionally having a bit more patience, a bit more emphasis on the ball on the deck. But I say that a bit more patience, but we do still look to move the ball pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's going to be a challenge for us. Jed Garner, he's joined you from Barrow. He's 3-6. He's made a good start, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting. The first couple of games, I thought he was a bit quiet, but I mean, he's not really played much football all season, so it's always going to take him a couple of games to get speed. He's missed a penalty against Colchester, and you're just thinking, this is going to be it feels like one of those moves that is destined to just go off the rails. But He's got a couple of goals, including an absolute belting goal to win the game against Crawley. He's got the goal against Sutton, and he's really contributing well to the team now. He runs in behind quite a lot. He stretches defenses. His link-up play has been quite nice. He's getting into lots and lots of good areas. He hasn't been massively quite as clinical as somebody like Michael Mellon, but he's getting to the areas, getting good chances, and the team are creating good chances, and that's what I want to see now. I don't mind a couple of missed chances. Most strikers at this level are going to miss a good few chances. That's why they're playing League Two. So, as long as he's getting to the areas and tucking a few away, then I don't really mind too much. And yeah, he's really kicked on over the last few games, which is nice to see.
The away form, you're doing really well. I think 3 straight away wins. I think the best of those was coming from 2-0 down against Tranmere to win 3-2.
Yeah, no, that was quite something. We drew on Saturday against Wimbledon away, but that was a tough one, to be fair. I think they're probably the best out of this recent run. It was 3 on the bounce before that, and out of this recent run we've had of pretty positive results, I'd say Wimbledon have been probably the best team we faced there. So, I think getting a point away at them is pretty good going, to be honest. So I'll take that. I'm pretty happy with that still. But yeah, that game against Tranmere last week, it was quite something. It was funny, really, because the game, in terms of just the overall balance of play for the first 10 minutes, it was pretty even, but we just had a couple of really catastrophic moments in defence. They've got some really pacey forwards, obviously, Tranmere, and yeah, they've kind of just done us with a couple of balls over the top and a couple of and straight down the middle. So it was frustrating, but we played really, really well. We at the end we've gone to score 3 goals, and we've thoroughly deserved them, and we probably deserve to win by more overall. But I'm not going to complain at winning it in that fashion with a 95th minute free kick from 30 yards.
How about Tranmere? They stuffed Stockport 4-0 on Saturday.
Yeah, it's interesting. I briefly watched over the goals, and I might have to have another look at them, because I think Tranmere do possess a lot. They have a lot of pace in their side, some really good ball carriers, and some decent, bit of quality spattered in around there. So I can see how they can hurt teams. But yeah, for Stockport to have the couple of results they've had, obviously they've lost that game 4-0. They've lost to Crewe at home as well. They've stuttered a little bit, and they were looking pretty imperious before that. But I think with yourselves beating, as you kind of said before, with yourselves beating Mansfield and all those other great teams at home, but then failing to win against Sutton, it just shows how kind of topsy-turvy this league is, and you get proper random results quite a lot of the time, which is I think very enjoyable.
Any team that can sort of put a bit of consistent run together, they're going to be up there, aren't they? We're challenging like Morecambe are for top 7. Our challenge is looking a bit weak at the minute because we're in 16th. But I mean, we're only 6 points off with the game in hand. So obviously you guys are a lot closer, just a point off the playoffs at the minute. So it's going to be a tough one, and we'll welcome back to Walsall Songo. How's he been doing for you?
He's been doing very well. Obviously, he came back under Derek. And we all know the long-standing kind of relationship between Derek and Jan Songo. Jan's done a fantastic job for him at a few different clubs now. But he's been he started the season kind of anchoring behind Eli King and JJ McKiernan, and giving them a bit of license and a bit of freedom to play. And in terms of destroyers at this level who will just break up play, win headers, get in people's faces, I think there probably aren't very many better at doing that in League Two, to be honest. He's fantastic at it. Obviously, he has his moments on the ball. It can be a bit wayward with the kind of consistency of his passing, but at the same time, having chatting to people who play with him, they say, Jan, they value him quite a lot. He breaks up play. He might not be the most have the most exquisite range of passing, but he kind of knows his abilities, knows his role on the side, and he's a great organizer. He's so vocal. He's not been in the team quite as much recently. We've brought in a bit of extra cover in midfield because he is 31, 32. We need to save his legs a bit, and sometimes it's good to have more of a ball player in those deeper positions as well, to give it, just to get it helped with build up a bit more, and we've seen the benefits from that. But at the same time, having him as an option, having him to come in some games and just break up play, it's really good, and the team really value him. And he's a bit of a legend. He won promotion. And you should see him when he's on the bench. He don't shut up. He's ordering people around. He's coaching people. He'll run down the touchline and be warming up, and then just be coaching people. So it's really great to see. He's obviously a fantastic character to have around the club as well.
Yeah, he didn't do too well at Walsall, really. Sort of didn't really sort of stand out. But sometimes it's like that. A player will do well at one club, and then he goes somewhere else, and it just doesn't happen for him. As far as Walsall are concerned, two real strengths for Walsall: Donovan Daniels and Priestley Farquharson, that we call the Priest. And they are a big solidity to our defence. But Donovan Daniels got injured at Crawley, and then the Priest went off on Saturday. So that leaves our defence quite young, to be honest. We've got two 20-year-olds and a 23-year-old and a 22-year-old keeper. So plenty of pace and exuberance there, I think. But not a lot of experience. The 23-year-old, Taylor Allen, he was a striker that went to left wing and then to left back, and now he's left-sided centre-half. But in fairness to him, he did very well against Mansfield. And the other centre-half, Mani Adebayaga, he is on loan from Norwich. He hadn't played previously. He came on for the second half and got a debut goal, come up for a corner and got his head on it. So a very nervous or very young, inexperienced backline, but there's some quality there. It's not like they're poor players. They've decent height and decent agility, which is what you want. Brandon Comley is the guy in front doing the similar job to Songo, really. So that's sort of match for match. Jack Earing and especially Isaac Hutchinson. Isaac Hutchinson is the guy that's running the show for Walsall at the minute. I think he scored his 11th goal, 10th or 11th goal this season, got another couple of assists as well. So about 7 or 8 assists. He is the shining light. Up front, Jamil Matt. Everybody knows about Jamil Matt, but he'd not really done it for Walsall until Saturday. He started Saturday and terrorised Flint, the centre half for Mansfield, and got past him for the first goal. And it was his best game for us. His pace isn't there, but aerially he's very strong and he holds the ball up well. And then you've got Josh Gordon. He is on loan from Burton. He'd gone to Barrow and had a really good season for Barrow and then got a move to League One, but it hadn't worked out for him. So he's come back to Walsall, trying to get his form back, really. And as much as he runs around a lot, he's not found the target in the first 3-4 games he's played. So he's in need of a goal. Also, Mo Fall. Are you familiar with him? Have you seen him again when you played Doncaster?
Yes, I do know the name. Yeah, Mo Fall, because he got a few in the first half of the season for Doncaster, didn't he?
Yeah, he scored 9 for Doncaster. Yeah, before January. But he's yet to start for us. Yet to score for us. So goals. Hutch is our main goal threat, with Freddie Draper, of course, similar to Mickey Mellon for you. Freddie Draper was massive for us, and he's gone back to Lincoln. So we are adjusting, similar to you guys, really. So it's going to be a tough one. If Walsall put on the same kind of performance they put on Saturday, then I think we'll win. But it's that consistency again, isn't it, Joel?
Yeah, I think you struggle to find too many sides who are, who often have that level of consistency. And like you said before, I think with the amount of teams vying for these kind of last 1 or 2 playoff spaces. It's going to be just a matter of who can kind of make sure they're consistently thereabouts. And then when it gets into that kind of run of 5 to 10 games, it's about keeping your head up and then just kind of powering on through there. But I think as well, luck will play a part. When I say, I don't mean necessarily on the pitch. I mean more in terms of squad and personnel. We haven't got the deepest squad. We had a few illnesses at the weekend. Apparently, thankfully, they've all recovered from it. But that kind of limited us a bit. We had a few players who weren't feeling 100%. We had one of our better players, a young lad, Joe Adams. He's coming into attacking midfield. He's been really good for us. He wasn't available on Saturday, but I think he should be available on Tuesday. Jed Garner went off around half time on Saturday with a hip injury. I don't know if he's going to be available or not tomorrow. So,
bit of walking wounded then, perhaps.
A little bit, yeah. So I think hopefully the illness thing is over. Jeb Brannan, the manager, mentioned that in his press conference today. So hopefully that's we're past that now. But in terms of knocks and niggles and stuff, it's one of those where I think that can often play quite a determining factor in your run to the end of the season. I remember when we went up, we were pretty fortunate in that Cole Stockton and Carlos Mendes Gomez weren't and Aaron Wildig weren't injured very much. So yeah, it's just how sometimes how those things fall for you as well.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. It's good to finally get the game on, and but I think there's a bit of rain due tomorrow, but I don't think there's anywhere near enough to get the game called off again.
I know.
It'd be a nightmare, wouldn't it, get it called off again?
I know, it looked pretty biblical last time. I knew a few people who were down there already, so it was a bit unfortunate, really, but just one of those. I mean, I remember, I think, was it Matt Sadler come out and said, he thought the pitch was kind of just about playable, and
yeah, that's it, yeah.
I think Jeb was of a relatively similar mind, but I don't know what the weather forecast was looking like for the rest of the evening. If it looks like it's going to hammer it down for the rest of the evening, there's not too much point, is there?
The thing is, I think we'd had a lot of heavy rain, but it was forecast to carry on all night. So and the ref made the decision on the basis that it's not great now and it ain't going to get any better.
Yeah, I think the thing is worth mentioning as well. It's not. I remember we had an absolute torrential downpour, really unexpectedly, right before we played Stockport in December. But that was the first time that we were having weather like that. Whereas pitches now, this time of the year, they've all taken a bit of a battering. They're all looking a bit ropey on the. They're all getting a bit tired now. So that probably.
We all want the undersoil heating and all that to keep them nice and comfortable.
I know, if only.
So finally, we go for a match prediction from a score prediction from you, Joel.
I'm not sure what position our squad is in, but I do back our away form. We've played pretty well recently. We've got a couple of different assets to our game. We're good. I think our build-up play has been really good. Some of the patterns I'm seeing in possession, the way we're building up, has been, particularly against Tranmere, has been fantastic to us. I've been really pleased with it. And obviously, we're still a threat in the counter ourselves. But obviously, Walsall been very good at home, done a really good job against Mansfield. But I don't know, maybe there's a bit of a contrast in us maybe both having a bit of a leaning towards counter-attacking. If you've been the side who's done well against some bigger teams, so maybe I'll say 1-1.
1-1. I think that wouldn't be a bad result. I don't think, because I know Morecambe have been doing well. For Walsall, this is we're in the middle of a group of 6 games, and we're looking because after the next lot, we've got 2 lots of 6 games after these, which look slightly easier. But Walsall generally do well against the teams near the top and not so good against the teams near the bottom, which is the forever frustration for us. But we're on 4 points at the moment with 3 games to go. And for us to get anywhere near playoffs, we're going to need somewhere around sort of 9, 10, maybe 12 points. So we could do with another couple of wins. So I think if we get... if we were to beat you, we'll go to Harrogate away on Saturday, hoping for 3 on the bounce. But I think this is probably the toughest one, other than Mansfield. So I think I'll go for a sneaky 2-1 win for Walsall. But I've got to do that, haven't I?
No, yeah, I've got to go for it. Yeah, I can't remember last time I predicted a loss for Morecambe, to be fair, when I did one of these. So.
I'm just going to comment here from Geordie. Big up the Walsall brothers. I guess you're doing a decent in League Two. Pushing for playoffs is going for you, I guess. Well, we're trying. It doesn't look, our position in the league doesn't look like we're pushing for playoffs, but the mindset is there. It's that, as we say, that consistency, isn't it? Right then, Joel, that's been brilliant. Thank you. Good luck for the season. Keep well, mate.
Thanks. Cheers for having me.
The joy and pain. That's the one. Cheers.